Day 4, it's December 4th. This is easy counting right here. Okay. 10 minutes of exercise every day for 3 weeks until the 21st or maybe the 23rd, something like that. So what am I going to do today? So yesterday I did something from the gym. Yesterday was a leg day. I didn't hit it super hard, but so my legs are a little bit sore today. So we're going to do some leg stretching, but we're actually going to do some footwork. Okay. The feetsies. Yes. And with that being, okay, so what are the feet? How much time and attention do you actually pay to your feet? Okay. So we're always saying like, point your foot, point your foot, point your fucking foot. Okay. If it was that easy to get a nice pointed foot by just saying point your feet and thinking about it, then why do our feet still look like crap years later? Because we probably don't spend enough time and attention to not only pointing the foot, but flexing it and also stretching out the toes. Okay, so if you see people who do like power pole, things of that nature, right, like they climb the pole, right, we have the toes have muscles in them, okay, and if you push a muscle too far, right, it's going to kick back, it's going to resist the overstretch essentially, right? So how can we make that stronger, okay, or working on the tops of our feet or stretching the foot, and aside from having like an actual medical excuse or some type of like pre-existing condition, most people can get some good plantar flexion and dorsiflexion, which is the pointing and the flexing of the foot, without getting overly technical. Okay, so we're going to start with just a light stretch of the lower legs, and then we will do some footy type of works. We'll do some calf raises. We'll work on the toes themselves, all that great stuff. So I got an actual timer today. Hey Google, set a timer for 10 minutes.
All right, 10 minutes.
There we go. Now I can't mess this up. Okay, so here we go. I got a yoga mat out. Yes, I'm going to do a little stretchy. We're going to warm up, like I said, first, and then we'll be on our way. Okay, so here we are on the mat, right? And we're just going to step. You're going to have 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. The rear foot is in line, so it's almost like if you were standing parallel. Yes, I'm going to step straight back, and I'm just going to have like a slight 45-degree turnout here, but the leg is completely straight, right? This would almost be like your warrior one type of shape if you're doing yoga or something like this. And if you had a side profile view, it would look like this, okay? So almost parallel, and then a slight 45-degree turnout on the rear leg. Yes, making sure that you're not bending in the knees, so you're actually pushing back here. Yes, and then you want to try and get as much flexion as you can coming forward here too. Yes, just for this, to lean in, and ideally this front knee is over the ankle and we're stretched. And then from here, I'm actually going to turn it back straight, and I might have to come back a little bit more forward, okay? So if I don't have a lot of flexion in my foot, the heel is going to lift. So you might have to get tighter. If you're really tight and this is all you can get, or you have to figure out what it is so you can get a straight leg here and then lunge into it. I can go a little bit further. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know why, my 6th grade PE teacher always used to say, like, come on, we're stretching the gastrocnemius. If you actually Google it, it actually is the right leg. Okay, the right part of the leg. Yes, it's back down here on the backside. Yeah, I don't know why I retained that information, but for some reason I did. Okay, and we're going to switch, just turn right around the other way. So we are parallel, yes, and then a 45-degree kick on the rear foot. Yes, squeeze, get it nice and straight, and then lunge in, and then see what happens is your knee actually over your ankles, and if not, then walk the foot forward so we can go a little bit deeper, but we stay stacked while we're here in this position. Good, and then parallel the feet. Maybe you can maintain that. Maybe now I get a real nice good stretch up the back of my calf, but then my knee wants to bend, so I need to think about straightening the leg. How do I do that? Pushing the knee back or squeezing the quad a little bit will make a straighter leg. Good, then come back. Boom, from here, shake it out just a little bit. We're going to roll out the ankle, roll it in one direction. Yes, we're going to loosen up the ankles. We're going to do some calf raises. Mine's a little crunchy and poppy right here. Roll it the other direction. Good. Switch to the other foot. We are going to warm up the legs right now, just a little like micro cardio. And if you've been doing this with me every day, you know that you don't need to do a full-on warm-up to do this, but definitely don't be coming at it totally cold unless you know you can do stuff that's cold. Yeah, just a little like running in place right here. Okay. And then a little jog in place, up and down. Back and forth. Okay. Now I want you to start activating the calves while you do this. Like, they are active, of course, like while you're running in place if your heel is off of the ground. But as you go up, I want you to think about what is it like if I point the foot to get the foot off of the ground. Instead of just like me lifting the knee or lifting my leg and the foot is just like dangling there. What would happen if I thought about pointing the foot and then lifting and then rolling through the toe? And as I bring the foot and the toe back down, it's toes, heel of the foot or the ball of the foot, and then you drop the heel. In order for me to point the foot, I have to activate the calf, and then I actually have to flick with the toes to get the toes to come off and roll over the top and pop me up, right? So what if we take that action of a point, not just an aggressive engagement of the calf to point the foot that makes the foot comes off, but as I go up, I'm thinking about every bit of real estate all the way down the foot, on the way up and back down. Yeah, switch it to the other side, boom. Point, up off the toes, and up. It would be up, right? Boom, boom, boom. Doing it really slow. And when I bring it down, I'm thinking about the tops of my toes or the tippy top part of my toes, like I'm on point, boom, touching first, and then it bends, and then it goes down, yes? And what's nice is you can even try doing this with your eyes closed and see if you can work on your proprioception, which is your body's ability to know where it's at in space. Because right here, there's a lot of dead space. So am I banging my toes into the ground when I come down, or am I making a nice, smooth little transition with my eyes closed? Yes? Or am I bending too soon? I'm like, oh, no, I'm scared. And I have a flat foot, yeah? Good. So now, when you jog in place, right, we're on the balls of our feet. Okay, I'm like, here, let me turn this way so I'm turning into the microphone. Now, as I start to run in place, my calves are active. The heel's already off of the ground. But now I'm going to run a little slower and think about engaging the calf and trying to roll off the top of my toes and put them back down. Yeah, that's some quick calf work right there too. Okay, so we're gonna do some calf raises. You can hold a chair, you can hold a wall, wherever you're at, parallel feet, right about hip width apart, maybe just a teeny bit wider, but that's totally okay. But stand up nice and tall, boom, here, squeeze, calf raise up onto the ball of the foot, and back down, up, try to get as high as you can, and down. Right now I'm trying to get as high as I can, but we haven't even pushed it yet. Down, up, and down. So if you look, when I go up, yeah, my ankle is still behind the ball of my foot. But can I get a little bit higher? I don't know. Can I get here? Can I push even further? So more squeeze of the calf will lift the heel further, yes, and push it forward towards the ball of the foot. Ideally, I would like to get super stacked, which I can do if I rest on one side. So you can see I have the range in my toes to actually get my ankle over the ball of my foot, but can's my calf strong enough to get me all the way there? That isn't right now, yes, but up and down, up and down, up and down, okay? Shake it out, boom here. Once again, our little lungy stretch. This time we can keep it a little bit closer. Yeah, but I want you to focus more on getting the flexion of the foot. So the flexing action right here. So now we can actually bend a knee just to see how far we can get into the flexing part here. It's kind of crazy, yeah? How much of an angle I've got right there. Boom, other side, stretch, boom. Really trying to get into the foot. Where's my flex at? What is my flexed foot? How much? What is this called in geometry? When my angle is this an acute angle right here? I believe so, if we're looking at that. If it's under 90 degrees. Boom, and then coming back. Okay, now we're gonna go back up onto the balls of the feet. So if you've taken liquid before, right, we're always trying to root to the big toe, and then this first one right here, your pointer toe. I need to figure out what this is called actually, because I have a pointer finger, but does that mean I have a pointer toe? Yes, okay. So when we come up onto the balls of the feet, we're gonna balance. Yeah, we wanna try and stand up nice and tall. But you notice when you're balancing here, right, like the front and back is gonna be controlled by your toes, right? So if your toes push too hard, you'll go backwards to your heel, yeah? And if you lean forward, yeah, or you try to lift your calves higher, that will propel you forward, and then the toes need to engage. But when it comes to the left and right, usually the ankles are a little bit loose and they just wobble in and out to balance you. Yes, and maybe you'll have this kind of like loose, what this essentially would be a sickle if you're standing on the ground, okay? So I want you to come up onto the balls of the feet, however it is. Think about rooting. Feel that big toe in the first one, rooting into the ground. Ooh, do you see how I'm opening wide to balance myself? Boom, squeeze the ankles together. Yes, squeeze and bring it in, and you'll mostly feel the big toe and the pointer toe, and the outer 3 will absorb some. The pinky toes not really doing so much, and then release it back down. Wiggle it out. I feel it in the calves. You should too. Okay, so I'm going to come closer just so you can kind of see what this looks like. This takes work, okay? So if your ankles are weak, that's how you get rolled ankles, especially if you do high heels, not boots, heels. You're like, oh, it's so cute, ooh, and then you roll an ankle and then you're out, okay? So like, boom, I'm up under the balls of my feet, or you can see I'm not squeezing my ankles yet. Watch, squeezing my ankles together. I'm not twisting my legs in or bringing my knees. Boom, it's almost like someone is pushing on the sides of my ankles to bring them in. Squeeze the ankles together like they've got magnets. And now I'm rooting into my 2 big toes. Big toe and my pointer toe. Boom, squeeze even more while keeping it facing forward is good. Rock it out, okay? So that's a good little fun exercise to do all the time. Now we're gonna come back, we're gonna go the other way. Now we're gonna stretch the toes themselves, okay? Come on, Matt, go with me. Yes? So, I spend a lot of time in a kneeling position, okay? Tuck your toes under here, yes, and then start to sit back, okay? So, depending on how flexible your toes are, okay, you might be like, ooh, this is really good right here, but obviously when you stretch something and you start to stretch it to its limit, just like, stop, right? You get this tension and then it starts to feel painful, okay? So you might need to take some time slowly to find whatever that range is, be like, okay, this is good right here, this is good right here. Can you relax into it? It's got to hurt so good, right? Like all good stretching. And then can you sit a little deeper? Oh, damn, the 10 minutes is already up. We didn't even do anything. Well, I'm going to go a few more minutes, okay? Hey, Google, stop the timer. Good. And maybe you can sit here. Maybe you can sit here for a while. Yes, and get a really nice stretch into the toes, right? Really, at the end of the day, when I'm doing these stretches, okay, it's not just to stretch the toe. It's almost like I want to see how far back can I get my toes to actually bend, okay? You can do the stretches with your fingers. It doesn't kind of work the same, but you can do that too. But you can also use your body weight to stretch your toes. It's like people who have really flexible fingers, right? Stretching the finger back, really stretching out all of this stuff that's underneath here. Okay, same deal, yeah? So one more time. Boom here, 10 minutes, that went by super fast, yes? So when I'm doing this as well, I'm going to turn around so you can see the backside view, right? Once again, I'm not letting my ankles just kick out to the side. So try to keep everything parallel, squeeze the ankles in here, right? Right now in this one right here, I'm just going to get mostly the big toe and the first one after that, right? The pinky toe is barely getting any love. Now if you want something that's going to be extra challenging, then you might come back and you might actually float, okay? So I can get my booty on my heels, and then I'm here and I'm thinking about first, just finding the shape here and then stretching out the toe first. And then from here, squeezing the ankles together. And then now I'm engaging. It's an engaged stretch because I have to balance myself. Yes, and the toes are preventing me falling forward, but I'm also trying to get a little deeper in this while I'm doing this, yeah? And then maybe you'll be able to stand up out of it at a later point in time, okay? So on the flip side of that, okay, we got that bend right there. So now we're gonna point the feet. Yes, sit back here. My knees are just a little bit wider. I've got the feet coming in, a small little diamond. As I'm just sitting on this, now I'm just stretching the top of the foot, which is nice. I'm not letting the heels roll out to the side, right? I'm still keeping them fairly parallel or not turned inward nor outwards. Yes, neutral. Yes, and I'm just getting a nice stretch on the top of my feet. Now for some of you, you may have a very bad toe point. Yes, dorsiflexion, flexion, plantar flexion. Yes, so where you have a big gap right here, you're like, oh my God, this hurts. So you might be something like, I can't even do it because it just feels weird, but you might be something that looks like this. And then you sit back and like, oh my God, it hurt. Okay, so take some time, work your way into it. Yes, but if you want a better point of the foot, you're going to have to put a little bit of energy and effort into sitting back and getting that top part of the foot stretched out here. So you don't have something that looks like this. I'm talking about this part right here. So you don't have something that looks like this at its best, but something that looks like this. And then ideally, we can get even more point. Right? It's not about the rounding of the foot, right? Like that makes it like really nice if you have a nice banana foot, but what we want to try and get is this nice and flat between this point right here, the ankle. So from here, right, you can see if I put my finger, you can see where it hinges because the ankle's right there. Boom, this would be better, more. Squeeze the calf, Yeah? Fairly straight. Cool? All right, so that was it, I guess. Just a quick 10 minutes of feet. So give it a try. I mean, it just feels good to like move it out. Spend a little more time playing with your feet and stretching them out and just sitting around, which is kind of nice because then you can do this watching TV and you can get a real good foot exercise without having to do any exercise. And that's your 10 minutes. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.